It's Friday. Lenny, come on, man. This one's. I'm doing this one over a specific headline on WCAX.com because it was press release day. I didn't listen to it, actually. Thank God for that, because I probably would have freaked out. As I usually do when I listen to almost every one of them. Almost every one of those press releases. So here's the headline post the 2-hour event that they do on Tuesdays and Fridays here in Vermont. This is what CAX came out of it, got out of it. Vermont bars get green light for counter seating. Semicolon. Lodgings go to full capacity. And then there's the article about it. Okay, there's a couple things that are pretty funny about that. I mean, not funny, but okay, bars. In the article, it says that obviously they got to put the partition up, the plastic partition between the bartender and the patrons, and the patrons got to sit 6 feet apart. That's not how bars work. That shit doesn't fucking happen. You go to a bar. I lived in Burlington for almost 10 years. I've mentioned this before. You go to a bar, and by the way, when they did the curfew for bars at 10 o'clock over the last couple weeks in Burlington, people don't even go to bars until 10. Okay, that's like when you go to the bars. You pregame until 10 or 10:30 or 11, depending on how fashionably late you want to be, and then you go to the bars. Okay, so the 10 o'clock curfew, I think they realized that was not, that was not working. Not in Burlington. I think Burlington, Vermont has more bars per square capita in their the immediate downtown area than like any other small city in the entire country. I think I read that somewhere like a long time ago, actually. Yeah, so Burlington is a college town. College kids, when they get the hell out of their house, and they come of age, or even if not, if they're whatever, they get fake IDs or whatever, they go to the bars. So, okay, today's announcement: Vermont bars get green light for counter seating. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Phil, for, like a tiny little piece of, like, what the whole scene, the whole experience used to be not that long ago, 6 months or so before it all got shut the fuck down. Thanks for giving us like a tiny little piece of that back. Or not me in particular. I'm too old for that shit. I drink at home now. But I was so a part of that back when I was a kid or whatever, a youth. Oh my God. To think that he has the power to just, and I mentioned it in the blah blah blah, the post that I posted about it, waves his magic wand. He just waves, and it's not his. It's not Phil Scott's wand, dude. If you guys know anything about, Agenda 21, like shadow governments and committees, unelected committees, and self-appointed committees, and you think the government is one thing, and it is completely something else. It is nothing like what the normal person thinks it is. Absolutely nothing. There's so much dark shit that goes on behind closed doors, and the more I see, I've been following people that have sort of been like, coming of age or like waking up through this process and asking a lot more questions that they wouldn't have prior to this whole thing, because life was just kind of going along as normal. post-COVID, life is not going along as normal, and a lot more people are starting to ask questions. I don't know if that's going to be ultimately a good thing, or if it might not even make a difference, or if it's just how they're singling people out to be targeted somewhere down the road for, excommunication type shit when they roll out the vaccines. And then, so the second part of that title is lodgings go to full capacity. Lodgings go to full capacity. Okay, again, whoop-de-fucking-do, because another thing they mentioned in that article is that you still have to do the whole quarantine process, which I believe is still 14 days, unless you get tested after 7, etc. It's just, there's no way it's gonna work. There's no way that this shit's gonna work. And my question is, how obvious does it have to become that it's not gonna work? That the whole thing, the whole play out that they're doing. Again, I want to refer back to Agenda 21, and I also mentioned the gold fringe on the flags behind the podium. You gotta pay attention to that. That's like that gets into some like Admiralty law and shit, like UCC, Universal Commercial Code. That's a whole other ball game, but like they're doing things that aren't gonna work. There's no way. The whole school thing, the whole school system right now, and requiring masks in classrooms and like distancing outside, it's not gonna work. There's no way, man. It was just, they did too much too fast. They tried to model the I don't want to name a country, but there's certain socialistic, communistic societies that have been implementing these things for decades now, and it seems to be working for them. I'm not really exactly sure why that is. I hope that's not going to be the case in America. I hope there's enough people, enough patriots. I don't want to call them that necessarily, but enough people that pay attention to the details, read between the lines, fucking look behind the scenes, pull the curtain back, find out what's going on back there. Even just enough to realize that there is something going on back there. It's not. You have to pull the curtain back, dude. If you leave the curtain up and just watch the person that's in front of it, standing at the podium telling you how to think and what to believe is real, and then it gets all backed up by the bullshit media. Even our local shit, CAX, fucking all of them, dude. All the people that call in the Islander or whatever, the Vermont Cynic, is I think it's school newspaper or whatever. They ain't doing it, dude. They ain't asking the hard shit. And even if in the off chance that they do ask a hard question, it gets filtered and censored out so heavily before it reaches their print, or their airstream. Sometimes you hear a question on these press conferences. They're fucking solid questions, dude. Legitimate questions. But by the time, so you hear it in that one situation, but by the time it gets to press, or by the time it gets to airwaves, it's watered down, man. It's filtered, or even just eliminated completely and doesn't even come up. And you're lucky to have heard it if you listen to it yourself live, on fucking NPR. That's another thing. NPR, VPR. Oh my God, do they have Vermonters wrapped around their fucking finger, dude? Their middle finger. You think NPR and VPR are not part of the whole thing? They don't have an agenda. They don't have a bias. Why do you think that? Why would you think that? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then, what's even more ridiculous about that is they ask you for money. They get so much money from their underwriters, their sponsors. By the way, I believe Bill and Melinda Gates is like a huge one of NPR. and probably VPR. They've probably got their fucking tentacles in that shit. Of all of all of the local public radio stations, or PBS and all of it, dude. Why would anybody think any different? Why would you sit there and listen to your favorite show on NPR, the News Hour or whatever, or VPR, and just be like, well, yeah, I mean, they're telling me the truth. Why wouldn't they tell me the truth? They're from Vermont. Yeah, they're Vermonters. They tell me the truth. Dude, you're fucking stupid. They're getting paid to not tell you the truth. That is their job. Their job. I found this out about the media, actually, especially since this whole COVID thing. Their job is it's not only to not tell you the truth, but it's also at the right time to siphon in just a little bit of the actual truth, and then pull back from it and talk a bunch of bullshit again. Just because they want the people that do pay attention to be like, wait a minute, they said that 2 months ago or 3 months ago, but then they retract it, and then they change their story again, and then the fucking sheep, dude. I hate calling them that, but it doesn't get any more true than that. They're so stupid. It doesn't matter if you tell them, if you straight up show them the article that this one of your favorite mainstream news outlets, NPR, VPR, said this 2 months ago, and then they're flip the fucking table on it and totally went back and are saying something totally different. They'll be like, well, some new information came out, or they didn't. Maybe that it was misinterpreted. That's what the censors say now, is misinterpreted. The fact checkers.